welcome to Pride Southside. We are excited to have a fellow podcaster with us right now. If you don't know the Bad Queers podcast, I don't know what you're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Welcome, Shana.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You know, Keenan, you should introduce yourself too, because you gotta let the good people know about your platform.
So, hello everybody. I am Keenan with Black Gay Table Talk, and I am excited to be sitting here with you. I cannot wait to get these questions out.
Yo, let's go. Anna Deshawn, your favorite queer radio personality. And Shana, so Bad Queers, so for everybody that don't know about the pod, tell them what Bad Queers is all about.
All right, so Bad Queers is a podcast that not only highlights and celebrates Black LGBTQ plus voices, we're talking about breaking stereotypes in the queer community. We come out and we are set up with a whole new set of labels, outfits that we're supposed to wear, music we're supposed to listen to, ways that we are supposed to be, and that's not what the queer experience is about. So we discuss news, we have education, we give advice, even though we probably shouldn't, and we share our bad queer opinions, which are basically just the things that people don't want to say out loud, but need to hear. So we
it's
talk
our
about
favorite
it all.
segment.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Because everybody got a bad queer opinion. Okay.
Anna has come on a few times and has had a few good ones.
Oh,
so
wow. It's a hilarious segment. Yeah.
So what was your favorite episode today? And I know that might be unfair to ask, but think back. What stereotype was your favorite to dispel or to talk about?
So there's a lot of folks who come on and talk about dispelling against stereotypes against studs specifically. I think a lot of folks want to be able to be a stud and be vulnerable. They want to be able to be a stud and be the small spoon, but they also don't want to continue to perpetuate the stereotypes that I think have come from OG studs that felt like they had to take on toxic masculinity, that they felt that they needed to almost replicate how men move in the world for them to receive respect. And so we get to break down a lot of those stereotypes and a lot of issues behind it and like the why behind it as well. And I think those segments are great because there's so many layers to that identity and why it is that I think today we're seeing it in such a different landscape than we used to. It's like you could go, I probably think of like an Atlanta stud and you're just like hats buttoned up all the way to here. You got your khakis on and they are going and operating in a certain way. You've seen that stereotype. And to see today where it's completely different, I think those are the conversations I like having. It pushes against people's comfort zone as well. The bad queer opinions that can get other folks talking and saying like, well, that's not how I was raised. And it's like, well, why not? Let's look deeper into that. And now we're having a therapy session. And that's how we got here. But those are probably the bad queer opinions that I love the most. And I think the stud conversation, because it's so nuanced, is the most fun.
Yeah. And you've had some dope guests on your pod. I mean, y'all been killing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So who has been maybe your top, I know this is hard, top 2 guests that you've ever had on Bad Queers?
Okay. And you don't count.
I don't count.
Okay, that's unfair.
That's
unfair.
Okay, unfair.
Okay. One of the ones that I think we laughed the hardest, we had Bob the Drag Queen on, and that was huge for us. My co-host Chris, she ended up meeting him at an event and just threw out there like, hey, you should come and be on our podcast. And Bob said, yeah. And actually did it. I think that was an amazing experience. And we recently had Jessamine Stanley on as well, and that was so many layers, so many nuances, so many different things. If you haven't followed Jessamine, they self-describe themselves as the fat yoga teacher, and they are also just an incredibly down-to-earth human. And I'm going to do a third bonus. We just had Dr. David Johns on, who is the executive director of the MBJC, and when I tell you that was a masterclass in everything Black and queer, with like a side note of trash television, it was the perfect balance. But he is an amazing human. If you don't follow him, if you don't follow the MBJC, I highly suggest that you do, because you will stay up to date on everything that's happening in our community and figure out ways to activate yourselves within that community space.
Literally everything that David says is a soundbite.
Everything.
Like literally everything that comes out of his mouth. And so if you don't know the National Black Justice Coalition, you should go follow them. They are the Black civil rights queer organization in this country. They're based out of DC, doing great work. They have an event called Out on the Hill, where Black queer folks actually go to the White House. They have conversation with legislators. It's a wonderful program. They're doing a lot of good work out of DC. So that's what's up.
I love that. So what do you have coming up from the Bad Queer podcast?
Yeah, so we are in the process of launching a lot of things. We just launched our new branding, so if you actually scroll back on our Instagram, you're going to see how it has all rolled out over this last month. We're getting ready to launch our website. We are on Patreon. You can find us everywhere at Badqueers Podcast. I said website. We're doing merch. A lot of rolling out different things that should have been out a long time ago, but for reasons and powers against us, haven't been able to, and now we are at that point where it's happening. So we're very excited.
And I've been meaning to ask, you just did this epic photo shoot situation with GLAAD. There was about 3 or 4 different Black queer podcasts, involved surface level, minority.
I think there was 8 or 9 of us.
Was there 8 or 9 of y'all?
Huge.
It was huge.
There was a lot of us.
How was that experience, y'all?
It was like going home. I think I've never been able to walk into a room and so immediately just feel like family. Like all of us had the common denominator of all being podcasters, and all of us were able to just connect, and everybody was at such a different phase of where they were in their podcasting. Some of them had just started, some of them only do their podcasts on YouTube, some of them have been in the game for years. My co-host and I hadn't seen each other in person in over 3 years, and that was our first time that we got together in 3 years, so it was really exciting. And for all of us to be able to just connect, they created such a safe and welcoming space. We were all encouraged to be ourselves. Sometimes we were like, oh, if we say this, is this too much? Is this, out of pocket? And they were like, isn't that the whole reason of why we're here? To break all of that? Isn't that what y'all do? And we were like, you're right. You got us fucked up. We messed up. Let's go back to our roots and remember that this is what we came here for. So it was just such a great experience. We all still text, talk, are liking each other's pages and things. So we connections there. So not only were we highlighted by a large organization with our voices, because it was all Black and brown voices that were highlighted, we were also the only queer women-led podcast that was featured as well. So that was really an honor to be able to be represented in that way, and to be in the room with all of these amazing people was fantastic.
You could feel the love, literally, in everything that I saw. You could feel the love. I was like, aw, as I'm swiping and looking, I'm like, aw, like, that's amazing. Like, you want to see that. So it was amazing, and I bet you had a blast.
Thank you. We were hyping each other up the whole time. It was just in the background, just yelling. We were talking about each other's outfits and all of it. It was great.
So we got one question that we're asking everybody, and then you gotta look in the camera. And what does the right to pride mean to you in one word?
I was like, I heard the people earlier say it was disrespectful for it to only be one word.
And so they broke the rules, which I'm sure you're gonna do too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're podcasters. If we don't talk,
You gotta break the rules.
that's what I do have my one word.
Okay.
I think the right to pride means that we can be unfiltered. I was like, we should say what we want, do what we want, feel how we want, in whatever way works for us. I was like, being queer are breaking the mold, so we should continue to do that in the loudest and best way possible.
Love it. And where can people find the badqueers podcast? Let them know.
All right, you can listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on all social media platforms at badqueerspod, and we'll have a website soon that will be at badqueers.com.
Hey, can y'all clap it up for the Bad Queers podcast? Shana's in the building. They doing great work, I promise to goodness. If you follow them on social, you will not be disappointed. That's all I'm gonna say. It is hilarious.
Entertaining.
It is so entertaining.
Thank you.
So thank y'all for stopping by the Pride Pod. We got more interviews coming today, okay? We got the live stream happening at E3 Radio. And make sure to stop by all the tables, learn about the pods, follow, subscribe. Y'all know all the things, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.